ready.
They say they need to ban the podcast equipment and take y'all mics away. And oftentimes when I listen, shit, I agree.
For real talk.
Hey, man, just because we know people don't mean that they know things. A lot of us was in the same classes with some of these folks. That don't mean they were passing these classes.
All the time.
It ain't the world leaving you behind, man. It's your line of thinking. You think the science stopped evolving because you stopped learning, and it don't work that way. I couldn't imagine voting for somebody who thinks identifying with me is identifying with a felon. That's crazy as hell. I'm Mrs. Spann, and I'm approving these messages. This is the Mrs. Spann Official Podcast. Let's go. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Spann Official Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann. This is episode number 89 of the show. And yeah, man, it's been about a week since the last time I talked to y'all, man. There's been a lot of stuff going on over the course of this last week. And, you know, I would have thought that I would have had time to get to you guys a little earlier this week, but shit just didn't work out that way. And it almost didn't work out today, man, because your boy, let me just say, today I am like just grateful for life right now, man. Like earlier today, I went to go and visit with my father-in-law. My father-in-law has been dealing with some health issues, and I went to go visit with him today. And shit, I'm driving on the freeway, and I get off, like, you know, I get off on my exit, and lo and behold, it's a goddamn car coming at me on the exit, going the complete opposite direction, man. And turns out this car was running from the motherfucking police, right? And again, I'm coming off of the expressway. I'm coming off of the freeway, and for those of you who are not familiar with like Detroit, some of the exits aren't like they're not necessarily something that, you know, just kind of get up on this hill and you go straight up. No, they have like a little wind that they go. You go around it like this little, you know, like this long little wind that you have to go through, and you know. For me, I'm looking at this and I'm already like kind of fucked up because I've been fighting with these insurance companies to get my car repaired since the last accident I was in about 3 or 4 months ago. And so, you know, I'm looking at this car headed my way, and it's like just like what happened with the last time and I was in a car accident. Everything was moving in slow motion. So when I got hit from behind the last time, I'm looking in my rear view, and I'm like, I can tell this person isn't about to stop. They're just, and there's nothing I can do. This time, I'm driving and I'm looking at this car come my way, and I started questioning whether or not I was like doing some bogus shit, right? Like I'm like, am I driving the wrong way? Like, what the fuck is this? And I'm glad that I snapped out of that fast enough to get my ass over and like kind of get over into the shoulder of the exit. And lo and behold, I get to the shoulder. That car continues to go. Police continue to chase them. I look in my rear view, and they smack head on into someone else, man. And just so happens, there was a video posted of like kind of the aftermath of this on Facebook. Now, I of course didn't, you know, post this at all. I continued on where I was going, but I'll show you guys like kind of the, you know, what happened after I passed them, right? So just so you guys can have an idea of what the fuck it is your man Spann avoided today, man. So, yeah, take a look at this, man. Like this is, wait a second. We don't need the audio because there's not really a whole lot of audio. It's just the sound of the freeway and everything. But yeah, man, this is kind of what the aftermath of that was. After they got past me, I could have been involved in that. Now, I'm not sure if anyone was hurt seriously in this particular accident, or if anyone like lost their life. I'm not sure. But yeah, man, I could have been involved in this. I like that car, that black car in the middle there drove right past my ass on the exit. And had I not, you know, like I said, had I not reacted as, you know, the way that I did, I could have been like, instead of this happening, it could have just been me. But you know, prayers to everybody involved in that accident, man. I hope that those folks who, you know, were not running from the cops, I hope that those folks are okay. And I hope that, you know, like no one got hurt seriously, man. Real talk. That's my biggest thing is that I hope nobody got hurt seriously. But yeah, man, this right here could have prevented me from even doing this show today, man. Real talking. So I'm grateful to be able to hit this mic tonight and chop it up and fellowship with you guys tonight, man. Real talk. But yeah, that happened today. So I avoided an accident today. But yeah, man. So before we get into everything, man, because I did want to I wanted to address that. But before we get into everything, of course, I do have to remind you guys how to get in touch with your man Spann over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and let your voice be heard. You can go ahead and hit up the hotline at area code 313-288-0485. There's area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages, and of course, those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to here live on the show. And if you're watching this via Facebook and or YouTube, go ahead and chop it up with your man Spann live. Call that number, area code 313-288-0485. You can also hit me up on Threads and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Hit us up on YouTube with a subscription. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel. Like the videos when we put the videos up. Comment on the videos when we put the videos up. And those comments will be included in our listener feedback when we had a listener feedback. We appreciate you guys for doing that. Also, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and or Spotify. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get right here live in the show. We really appreciate you guys for doing that. It doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety, man. Real talk. And also, if you want to put some cash on it, if you want to put $5 on it, we got a way for you to do that, man. We got a store, man, because we want you to get something back when you give us money over here, right? So we got a store, man. We got coffee mugs. We got sweatshirts. We got hoodies. We got we even got hats now, y'all.
We got some hats now, motherfuckers.
Yeah, man, we got hats now. So, like, yo, there's something for everybody in the store, man, and we really appreciate you guys for supporting us in that way. And so, like I said, when you give us money, we want you to get something back that you can, something for you to have tangibly, and we would love for you guys to have that. So, yeah, man, real talk. Appreciate everybody who does that and helps us out in that way, man. But yeah, so like I said, it's been about a week since the last time I talked to y'all. I'll say this though, man. It's been a while since I did any like random thoughts or anything, but I did have a couple random thoughts that I wanted to share, man. I like just kind of put this out to the rest of y'all, see what you guys think about them, right? I was thinking about this earlier this week. I was watching a video. It was like a sneaker like review video, and they were reviewing like some like Kanye West, like the Yeezy, like I guess he's not with Adidas anymore, but he does like still do the Yeezy thing, and he's releasing clothes and stuff like that or whatever. And I haven't really heard much from Kanye since, it's been a while. Kanye been kind of quiet, you know what I'm saying? But that happened. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh, he still got motherfuckers out here buying this shit. That's crazy. But but then I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? To me, man, it was like, I feel like the Kanye West I used to like, I feel like the Kanye West I fucked with died after, the life of Pablo, man. I feel like that happened. Anything after the life of Pablo, I don't think I was fucking with it. I think after, slavery was a choice shit, and then him doubling down on it, and then, Trump, he's like a father figure to him, and then like the Nick Fuentes stuff. I think like that Kanye West just kind of died. The Kanye West that I was a fan of died around that time, and so anything that's happened after that, I haven't even checked for. So like when I see people referencing albums and ranking them amongst like some of his more earlier work, and they be like, yo, this was he had like an 8-album run. I'm thinking like, well, what was the 8 albums? And they just start naming shit that he did after he became like an out and out racist. I'd be like, oh shit, oh so y'all was still listening. I stopped listening after T-Lop, right? So yeah, man, I was thinking about that, man. Like there's still people that fuck with Kanye, still consume his shit, but like for me, I'm just like, man, that man died to me after the life of Pablo, and that's kind of crazy, man, because he's still walking around and shit, but it's like to me that nigga's dead, man. So got that going on. Another thing I was thinking about, man, it's interesting how we pick up like language and shit, right? Like oftentimes we find out that some of your more popular slang comes from places that you wouldn't necessarily, especially the larger public, they wouldn't necessarily vibe with, right? And so you think about, terms like clock it, or spilling tea, or shade. You know what I'm saying? They throwing shade, that type of stuff. All of that stuff kind of has its roots in black gay vernacular, right? Like a lot of the black gays are the ones who kind of came up with this vernacular, but that vernacular has kind of like just seeped off into the mainstream, and like even like the hardest fucking straightest fucking alpha male-ish type motherfucker be out here using these terms, not necessarily knowing where this stuff came from. And I wonder if they knew where the stuff came from, would they continue to use it? And so one of the things I was thinking about was the fact that we have an entire genre of podcast, right? Like they call it red pill podcast, or, and most of it is like, people who have become conservative leaning, and, they feel like they've now learned the truth, and they're taking the red pill to learn the truth. And we know that the red pill thing, the motif of it comes from the Matrix, when Neo was presented with the red pill to, further investigate the Matrix, or take the blue pill and go back to sleep. And, Neo decides that he was going to take the red pill from Morpheus in order to learn more about the Matrix and what the world was really like, right? But the interesting thing about that is that entire motif was created by two trans siblings. Oh shit, my buttons is like, they not doing it. Yeah, it was two trans siblings, the Wachowski. It was the Wachowski brothers at the time, but now they're the Wachowski sisters. And like, I low key wonder, like, if the red pill folk, like, who are vehemently against trans people and trans rights, I wonder if they would consider you to use the red pill vernacular and theme in order to talk about becoming converted into, conservatism and whatnot. I wonder if they knew where it came from. I wonder if they would continue on using it that way. That was just something I was thinking about this week, man. Those are things that was on my mind. So yeah, man, we got through with the random thoughts. Now, here's the thing that I got this story here. This is actually some local Detroit shit that happened over the course of the last week, probably even the last couple weeks. I didn't get a chance to talk about it last week because there was so much stuff going on, right? But I was like, yo, man, this story kind of made me wonder about, like, the importance of, like, the news and some of these stories they be giving us, and like, why the fuck was it important for us to have this story pop up, right? But apparently there was a young lady who was a bus driver in the city of Detroit. Apparently, she was allegedly having an affair with her supervisor, right? This shit made it onto the news, okay? And so I'm gonna pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. But one of the things that came that came with this was people were very upset with the fact that this sister's face was all over the news, and the person with whom she was allegedly involved with at work, his face wasn't all over the news. So we're going to discuss that on the back end. But let me go ahead and pull this up so you guys can see right along with your man Spann here. Hold on a second while I pull this up, and let's see what they're talking about.
A Detroit bus driver and her supervisor left a running city bus for a romantic rendezvous, leaving riders stuck and frustrated. This was just one of the issues uncovered in a new report from the Detroit Inspector General. The report says the two were caught being romantic during work hours multiple times, causing long delays. Noel Friel spoke with city leaders tonight. And Noel, this report claims management failed to investigate this properly.
Hey, could you imagine, like, having to tell your boss that the reason you was late for work is because the bus driver and her supervisor was fucking her in the back? Right? Can you imagine having to explain that? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's right, Kimberly. The Office of Inspector General found that supervisor and employee were having what it called romantic interactions both on the city bus and during working hours. But the even bigger problem, according to this report, is what happened after that relationship was discovered.
It started with an anonymous complaint back in June alleging that a senior transportation service inspector, Andre Reese, and bus driver Dana Ruff engaged in indecent activity on a city bus. An investigation by the Office of Inspector General uncovered.
Now, the person that the person that reported this, I'm wondering if it was like a passenger, someone who was waiting on the bus, or if it was somebody who was a coworker of theirs who was just aware of the fact that these two were involved inappropriately, and they decided to blow the whistle on that. Or could it have been somebody else at work whom maybe these two may have also had some dealings with, and they jealous about the whole situation, and they was going to pulling the wool off the, pulling the wool off the eyes of everybody else now because they jealous about this situation.
Video footage from May 6th showing the two fondling each other on a bus. It found Reese then reported an unsubstantiated mechanical issue with the bus, took the bus out of commission, and took Ruff to a fast food restaurant, disrupting service for 115 minutes. On May 20th, it says Reese and Ruff again met up multiple times during Ruff's route and at one point abandoned the bus while it was still running. That day, DDOT received a complaint via a customer assistance form about the abandoned bus, but Inspector General Kamal Marable says leadership didn't investigate it properly.
They left that bitch in the city just running. They just left the bus run. But you know what, though? Like, I guess they figure, like, what's the fucking likelihood of somebody stealing the whole fucking city bus? Like, everybody gonna know you ain't supposed to be driving the bus. So I guess they figure, fuck it, then. Ain't nobody's gonna be bold enough to do that. But it is Detroit, nigga. Like, if a nigga really wanted to, he would.
Found out that the supervisors who were responsible for dealing with this type of issue were very lenient in their response to it.
DDOT Superintendent Howard Bragg classified their actions as a Class 4 offense, which would normally be punishable by a 30-day suspension followed by termination. Instead, he gave them both 5-day suspensions. Marable says he never reviewed the video footage of the two inside the bus.
For some reason, this individual only chose to review the footage basically from outside of the bus, not the full interaction.
So that just tells me that, like, maybe the supervisor or whomever, maybe he was cool with the people that was doing the investigation, right? Like, you got relationships with the people who were in charge, and they covering his ass, right? Now, I'm not sure if that person is union or if that position is unionized or not, but if it's not, you know, pretty sure that's an at-will. It's an at-will job, and they can get rid of you for whatever fuck reason they want to. But maybe, just maybe, the higher up had somebody who was able to just kind of cover up for them.
We found that very problematic.
The Office of the Inspector General is now recommending discipline for Bragg and the DDOT Assistant Director, additional consequences for Reese and Ruff, as well as policy reform and enhanced training for DDOT leadership.
The real victims in this were the citizens who were waiting on buses that did not come on time because you had individuals who did not take their job and their responsibility seriously.
All right, so here's the deal, right? Now, one of the things that I saw across social media, especially here in Detroit, when in regards to this particular story, was there were a lot of people who were upset. A lot of people who were upset that the bus driver, the young lady, what was her name? Ruff, I believe her name was, that her face was all over the news, right? Like, why is her face all over the news? Why isn't his face all over the news, right? And one of the things that I kind of noticed was, like, people were just like looking her up on Facebook, right? And I believe that, like, a lot of the news stations around here, they just probably went to her fucking Facebook page and just yanked their picture off of Facebook. The guy that was involved in this, like, yo, it's been about a week now. I ain't seen his face yet. And, you know, I'm sure, like, for those folks who would like to see his face, maybe he shut down his social media. Maybe he doesn't have social media at all. Maybe he scrubbed his shit when he knew this was about to hit shit was about to hit the fan. Who the fuck knows? All that to be said, though, I guess I'll probably put this as a poll question on tonight's episode. Like, do you think that the news media should have ran with her face and her face only, or should they have not shown her face if they weren't going to show his face, right? So, that's the question that I guess I have for the audience tonight, because I know a lot of folks took umbrage at the fact that her face was plastered all over, the news, and, folks found out that she had just recently gotten married. So apparently she had been cheating on her husband. And so now he's finding out that maybe he's finding out that his wife has been messing around on him via the news. We don't know. But we also don't know much about the other guy who's involved, whether or not he's married, whether or not his wife finds out that he's messing around via the news, but his face isn't all over the place. So it's not as embarrassing for her as it would be for the young woman who was also involved in this particular instance, right? So that's the poll question I think I'll present to you guys tonight, man. Should the news have run with both of their faces or none of their faces if they were going to present this story? So yeah, man, I thought that was the thing I got from this entire thing. Yeah, like workplace relationships, unfortunately, they're going to happen. Right? You hope that people would have a little bit more restraint, especially considering you might, especially if you are involved with someone outside of work. You got a husband, you got or a wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whomever. But that idea of a work husband and work wife, that shit is real. Ask these motherfuckers who work in the plants. Like, that shit is real, and you around these people almost more than you with your own family a lot of times. So yeah, man, it's crazy that I thought it was just crazy that like it reached this level of like news media coverage here in the Detroit area, where like you had this big ass expose about this one bus driver and this one supervisor involved sexually. But then, yeah, you think about how, like folks were like who depend on this shit, who depend on the bus to get back and forth to work or to get back and forth to pick up their kids or their kids getting to school and everything else. They depend on this. And because these two individuals are being selfish about them wanting to be together, totally saying, fuck this job, let's go fuck each other. And, you end up with yourself being all over the goddamn news. So, yeah, man, that's going to be the poll question tonight. So we got that going on. Now, another story that I wanted to talk about tonight, let's do that there. But another story that I wanted to talk about tonight actually had to deal with, let's see what we got. This story here, this hit the news earlier this week, man. So, of course, you guys know the NFL playoffs are going on right now. As a matter of fact, I believe the Chicago Bears are playing the LA Rams in the NFC divisional game. Their game is tied right now at 10-10 with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. So I'm keeping track right now live. But yeah, earlier in the playoffs, man, the Jacksonville Jaguars had just lost a game. I believe it was to the Buffalo Bills. And there was a journalist from the Jacksonville Free Press. I believe that was her publication. And normally during these press conferences, the reporters ask, sometimes they ask some pretty asinine questions, like, what were you thinking about on that 3rd and 5 when you decided to go for it on, or that 4th and 5 and you decided to go for it in the 4th quarter? What was your thought process on that one? Or, do you think that, this player is a competitor? Like all these things, right? And a lot of times I think like the players and the coaches, they get dumb questions all the time. And like sometimes they'll get the same question just asked a whole bunch of different types of ways, right? But this one time you had this woman, Lynn Jones, and she just spoke life into the Jacksonville coach. Man, you could see his face kind of beam and lighten up considering what was going on. So let me go ahead and pull this up so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm sure you guys have probably heard the story, but for the purposes of the show, we're going to replay what this lady said to him. And y'all going to see this man's face kind of lighten up. You can see he already look like he wanted to cry, right? But yeah, man, let's see what Lynn Jones had to say to him. And this actually set the whole goddamn internet, or not the whole ad. This set journalistic people on fire that she would even have the audacity to do this. So let me go ahead and
Jones, Jacksonville Free Press News. I just want to tell you congratulations on your success, young man.
Thank you.
You hold your head up, all right? You guys have had a most magnificent season.
Thank you.
And you did a great job out there today.
Appreciate
so you
it.
just hold your head up, okay?
Thank
and
you,
ladies
ma'am.
and gentlemen, Duval, you the one, all
Thank
right?
you, ma'am.
keep it going. We got another season, okay?
I appreciate
Take
it.
care and much continued success to you and the entire team.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now, for those of you who are watching, I'm going to play this again. For those of you who are watching, watch how when she first starts talking, what his face looks like, and by the time she gets finished talking, what his face looks like. I want y'all to just pay attention to this, right?
you doing today? Lynn Jones, Jacksonville Free Press News. I just want to tell you congratulations on your success, young man.
Thank you.
You hold your
Like right now, he looks like he wants to cry. He looks like he wants to cry right now. He's like, oh shit, you know?
head up, all right? You guys have had a most magnificent season.
Thank
you.
you.
And you did a great job out there today.
Appreciate
so you
it.
just hold your head up, okay?
Thank
and
you,
ladies
ma'am.
and gentlemen, Duval, you the one, all
Thank
right?
you, ma'am.
keep it going. We got another season, okay?
I appreciate
Take
it.
care and much continued success to you and the entire team.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now, by the time that exchange is over, that man's got a big smile on his face, right? She spoke life into that dude. And when I first saw this exchange on Threads, that's exactly what I said. I said, you can, without even knowing who she was or seeing her face, I already knew that was a sister, right? I knew that was a black woman because I know what it feels like to have a black woman speak life into me, right? To make me feel like I can get up and go out here and do whatever the fuck it is I need to do because I'm bad than a motherfucker and she done put this battery in my back to go out here and do that shit, right? I've had black women speak life into me. So I know what that feeling is like and I know what it sounds like. But like, it was interesting though, because like even, like sometimes, especially with social media, you just got to kind of take some of the things that people say with a grain of salt. Like I had some guys come up to me talking about yeah, she's speaking life into this white man, this, that, and other. I'm like, come on, bro. Like everything ain't gotta be that. Like we got enough of the real shit like that to be mad about. This ain't gotta be that, man. This ain't gotta be that. But the thing that I thought was interesting was how folks were coming at this woman saying that she didn't even deserve to have her press credentials because of this exchange, that she wasn't a real journalist. I think at one point, even Jemele Hill, like she since apologized, but even Jemele Hill was like, that couldn't have been a journalist because I wouldn't have said I wouldn't have used the word awesome for their season, right? Like it was just weird in a sense of like, yo, here we have someone who's just being a human being, or better yet, encouraging another human being in a time where encouragement was probably needed for that person in that moment, right? And the decency being shown to him was the problem, right? They found it problematic that the decency that was being exchanged here was like they found that wrong, and it kind of speaks to how we deal with life now, like the way that we deal with life now. We're like, there's a time and a place for decency. This isn't the time for you to do that. Why not? Like, why not? Like, you can still ask whether or not he can go. What was he thinking about on 4th and 5 or some shit like that? You can still ask him about special teams and whether or not you thought the special teams executed in the way that they should have over the course of the game. You could have asked him about the decision to go for it as opposed to kicking a field goal or punting the ball. You could still ask those questions, but to be upset that someone took their time to just extend a bit of decency and encouragement to somebody was like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? And it just speaks to how we so readily gravitate towards like negativity and bullshit, right? You think about how often someone says anything to you on social media. Oftentimes, man, like if you say anything, if someone says something nice to you, like if you inundated with some, like you put a post up, it maybe goes semi-viral. And, folks will, engage with you and they say, oh my God, great job. That's I love this. This is why I come on the internet, man. This is a palate cleanser, that type of shit. You may just like what they said or whatever else and not even go past that, right? But that one motherfucker, like, man, this is some old bullshit. He only posted this shit for the likes. Now you got it. Now you looking at that one motherfucker and giving them all the attention in the world. And then they won. In the sea of all this positivity being, headed your way, that one negative motherfucker was the one that stuck out to you, and you feel like that person deserved your attention, not the people who had been bigging you up. Right. And I think, sometimes we're all guilty of it. I know I'm guilty of it. But it just kind of speaks to like it speaks to the way we just kind of socialize now, to where when someone shows a modicum of decency and respect and encouragement, that their peers look at that as something to look down upon. Right now, she has since gone on to do a bunch of different interviews, and I'm gonna play a little bit of one. This one we get off of Threads, but I'm gonna play a little bit of one because like they talk. She talks about like, yo, I've been doing this job for a while. For y'all to be trying to act like I'm just a fan and I don't deserve my position. Like I've been a journalist for a while. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Hold on a second while I do this here, and let's see what Lynn is talking about. Sound.
I mean, and I really was, yes.
You know, subscriptions going up for the Jacksonville Free Press.
Yes.
I mean, did you know this was going to throw you into the spotlight?
I did not. I really did not. I mean, it was a typical day. Go to the press box, and it was just an overwhelming day. I can tell you that this entire city, this town, our team, our city, and our coach, we were overwhelmed. I mean, and I really was not going to attend the press conference, but I left out. I was talking to a young man. I'm sure he know who he is, 23-year-old young man. We're just talking about the game. I'm telling him I'm from Michigan, this and that, and I'm giving him some words. He said, ma'am, he said, you need to go ahead and attend the press conference. So I went back, I went down, went through how we maneuvered through, and I sat there, and everyone was back there, and then Coach, word up, Coach. So Coach came out, and his emotions, he was totally immersed, his feelings.
Yeah.
He had tears. He bit his lip. And the issue is the question, not necessarily a question in the fourth quarter and the fourth down and the punt came through.
Right.
But my question was, keep your head up, young man. Yeah. Young man, this entire year, we have rooted for this team over more than 30 years. Do you understand what I'm saying? The stadium, the solemnness, we were rooting, I mean, it was packed. So he was like, yes, ma'am, thank you. So now I'm the new grandma.
You probably needed to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The new auntie. And
So, Lynn, I do want to bring out.
Yeah. So yeah, man. I again, like I said, I just think it was just kind of weird, just to have someone, express some level of empathy and extend some encouragement that became an issue for people in the sports media landscape. And yeah, man, it just kind of speaks to like kind of where we are as a society right now, which doesn't really, bode well for a lot of us, man. Real talk. So yeah, man, we got that going on. Now, another story that we got going on, man. Druski done set the motherfucking internet on fire, man. He done did his thing. And interestingly enough, right, like the church folk, some church folk are kind of predictably upset, but then you got some other church folk who are like, I see it. And then you got everybody else like, oh, we definitely see it, right? So Druski did this skit where he was mocking mega church pastors, right? Now, here's the thing. As someone who grew up in church, as someone who was a junior deacon in the church, I didn't get baptized till I was 18. My grandmother, that was like one of her biggest things for me to get baptized. And I got baptized at 18, became a junior pastor. I mean, not a junior pastor, but a junior deacon. And, I read the Bible, still read the Bible to this day, man, because there's always a lesson to be learned. There's always something to pull out of that book, right? But I'm not heavily religious. I don't go to church. I don't go to church at all anymore, right? And one of the things that stuck out to me was one of the very first things he did was part of the reason why I stopped going to church. And I'm just gonna you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna just go ahead and pull up the damn skit. Cause why not? Right? Go ahead and pull up the skit so you guys can see right along with your man Spann. Let's see what we got going on here. See what the fuck Druski had. Why the hell the church folks are mad at him in the way in which they are mad at him. All right. Let's see.
Ready for the revolution. Do you want a revolution? I'm gonna have Wanda stand up here. Wanda, please. Wanda told us earlier this month that she could not have a baby anymore. So
Wanda look every bit of 75 years old. Wanda walking up, looking every bit of 75 years old. There's a reason why Wanda can't have no more kids. Oh, shit.
I impregnated her with the word of God. I'm going to impregnate everyone with the word of God. You gonna get pregnant with the word of God. You gonna get pregnant with the word of God. You gonna get pregnant with the word of God. Impregnate.
This nigga is doing the snake on the fucking. This nigga is doing the snake on the stage.
I had somebody in the congregation ask why I'm wearing Christian Dior and Christian Louboutins.
Now, also, he has a Christian Dior coat on with some Christian Louboutin shoes, but this nigga is hanging. He's suspended above the stage. Now, I can't remember exactly what pastor that was, but I do remember there being a pastor somewhere, maybe in Atlanta someplace, where he was suspended above the congregation. And when I saw this, like, man, what the fuck? Like, what is this nigga doing? Like,
niggas.
Like, what is this nigga doing, right? But so he's mocking that, but also he's drawing attention to the ostentatiousness of a lot of these pastors where they wear all this super expensive ass shit, and they sometimes they find very ridiculous ways to justify it. I'll say that.
Because I'm a Christian and I walk in the blood of Jesus. Give him some praise. I'm a Christian first, and I walk in the blood of Jesus. Give him some praise. Give him some praise. So we are raising funds for a project in Zimbabwe.
Yes, yeah. So when I told y'all before, like, one of the reasons I stopped going to church, I remember when I moved back to Detroit from Chicago. And I went back to a church that my great-grandmother used to be a mother. She used to be a mother at this church. And a couple of my cousins got married there. My great-grandmother's funeral was there. The pastor of the church was still the pastor of the church. But since I had been going to Chicago and come back, the church had grown. And like to the point where they needed, they couldn't just have just the one service on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. They had to have at least 3 services to accommodate all of the people who now wanted to go to this church. And so when I went back, one of the things that that I thought was kind of off-putting was the fact that the pastor of the church was in the Bahamas doing missionary work.
Oh man, hey.
And the reason why I hated it was because, like, first of all, bro, like, I'm sure they got missionary Baptist churches in the Bahamas. Like, I'm sure the Bahamian, like, missionary Baptist pastors over there got a handle on things down there. They didn't really need you from the west side of Detroit to bring your ass down there to do any missionary work down there, right? Also, it's a lot of shit you could possibly be doing in the neighborhood surrounding this church. Because, shit looking kind of bad around here, right? Shit ain't the greatest around here, right? And so, that combined with it was kind of not as personal as it used to be, when I was there. Like, it was off-putting. It was off-putting. It set a really bad taste in my mouth. And so at that particular point in time, especially at that time of my life, I was just like, you know what? I know how to read this book. I don't need that man to tell me how to read this book. I can read it and I can gain, I can gain my own knowledge from it. Yeah, I can reach out to some elders, but it may not necessarily be the pastor of this church. And so I haven't really been a regular churchgoer since because of that, right? Like, what are we really doing, man? Like, the monies that we give to this church is only facilitating for you to go just out here doing this stuff and putting it in the name of God. And like, that's what I think puts a lot of people off.
We are trying to get our congregation over in Africa. Amen. We wanted to raise $4 million for that. Amen. Hallelujah. That needs to appear today. We are not letting anyone leave until we reach our goal. Amen. Hallelujah. Life savings here. Give him some praise for that. Give it his life savings up.
Now, y'all think about this. We were just talking a few weeks ago about Marvin Winans. That Marvin Winans, he been building a church over on Woodward in Detroit for the last 20 years. And that lady came up there. She came up there with, what was it, $1,200? And what did he say to her? He said, this is only $1,200. And she said, well, I'm going to work on the other 8. And he was like, that ain't what I asked you to do, right? That was just a few weeks ago. That shit went viral across the nation. How about, I forget what that other pastor's name was, where he was telling, hey, man, close them doors. Close them doors. We going to raise this money. Like, and everybody that stand up here behind the stage, it costs money to be up here, right? So, like, he's not getting this from nowhere. That's the thing. It's not like he's just pulling this out of his ass. He's not getting this from nowhere.
Apostle Richie says, baby, can you help me? I said, can you help me? I said, can you help me? I'm gonna finish this word here, and I'm gonna do the Christian version. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna do the Christian version. I'm driving this Bentley Bentayga because I believe in Christ. Can you leap on your legs like a survivor? Can you leap on your legs till the money fall out your pockets?
The money fall out.
Jesus, you are, Jesus, you are, Jesus, you are.
Still praise the Lord.
Hold on. I need you to pray for my wife. Hey, come on, man. Hey, get your hands off my car. You gave tithes and offering? No. Back the fuck up, man.
Yo, he blew his fucking gum at old boy. Like, he blew his gum at the old man. But nah, real talk. It's not as though he grabbed this shit from nowhere. And so what we started finding, what we started seeing, of course, you know, you're going to have people who go to churches like this, who see no problem with those actions taking place in their church. They take offense to the mockery of those actions taking place in their church. And then they will say, like, those of us who are, you know, they would say we are of the world. And because we are of the world, or we don't understand what is happening and why they are accepting of these things. And the rest of us are just looking at them like, nah, that's exactly where he wants y'all to think, so that y'all continue to give him some money, right? Like, that's exactly how they want y'all to be. And so, like, you saw people talking about something, they making a mockery of God. It's like, no, it's not a mockery of God. It's making a mockery of the people who are making a mockery of God. Let's not get this twisted. It's a mockery of the mockery of people who make it is a mockery of the people who are making a mockery of God. So, like, again, like, this type of representation of the Christian faith kind of makes it a joke to those who are not members of the faith. And also the ways in which, you know, how white people oftentimes express their Christianity. And in some ways you look at it and be like, yo, man, that's just racist. And you trying to wrap your racism in God. Like, nah, you can't do that either. Right? So, yeah, man, Druski hitting on the pulse of shit, man. So, yeah, like, I think they said this video got over like 50 million fucking views across all of social media, man. And he probably just got another one just based on me playing the shit during the show. But yeah, man, Druski did his goddamn thing, man. I saw no issue with it. I could relate to it. We see this shit all the time. You can't be mad at the material if they didn't give him the material to use in the beginning. So you got that going on. Now, another story that we got going on has to deal with one Tish Hyman. All right. Now, for those of you who are like, man, who the fuck is Tish Hyman? Because I know a lot of y'all will be like, have you ever heard of Tish Hyman? And y'all will be like,
Not never.
yeah, well, Tish Hyman is running for I almost fucked up there, man. I almost fucked up. Tish Hyman is running for mayor of the city of Los Angeles. So the breaking news, y'all. Yeah. Now, here's the deal, though, right? Tish Hyman, she is, you know, she's a rapper, right? I didn't know she was a rapper. When I first became aware of who she was, they were calling her a singer of some sort. But even with that, had never heard of her at all, right? But the reason she came upon my purview was because there was an incident that happened last year where she was at, I believe it's a Gold's Gym in the Los Angeles area. And she was in the women's locker room, and she came across a trans woman in the women's locker room. Gold's Gym then decided that they were going to revoke her membership after she came out of the bathroom and pretty much made a spectacle and brought attention to the fact that there was a trans woman in the women's bathroom.
Well, that'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Yeah, so we're going to pull, let's see, hold on a second, because I got a couple different, okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go back. We're going to go back to how we initially became aware of who Tish Hyman was, and this is the initial story about her conflict with the trans woman in the women's locker room. So give me a second here while I pull this up, so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Hold on a second here, and let's do this here. Boom, boom. All right, and let's see exactly what they talking about.
And sensitive subject. And in this case, a woman says she felt like her privacy was being violated.
Men, grown men with big dicks in the women's locker room.
Not with big dicks though, like a grown man with a big dick in a women's locker room.
And that's why I'm getting kicked out, and I want to make sure the girls know.
It's a video that's gone viral. Singer Tish Hyman was furious. She says she was naked in the women's locker at her gym, formerly Gold's Gym, now EOS Fitness in Hollywood, when she realized there was a man inside.
They probably changed the name of the gym also because they didn't want to be associated with the controversy that Tish Hyman and this particular incident garnered. So they probably changed the name simply because of that.
I was in shock. I was scared, and I told him to leave. He would not leave. Had no regard for my naked body standing there.
She says it's not the first time it's happened.
So you just stayed there naked though? That straight up question, just a question. You have an issue with someone else being in there with you, and all y'all are naked, and you don't want them to see you naked, but you're standing there naked. Okay.
It has happened to me in a 2-week span 4 times in that bathroom. I turned around to men and they're naked 4 times, and I reported it to the people in the front. They did nothing. They did absolutely nothing. Stay out of the women's locker room. We don't want it.
We are not showing this person's face because they have not committed any crime or violation that we know of. But Tish alleges it was a nasty confrontation.
He said to me verbatim, straight women like to see D word. So if anything, they're looking at me more than you in there. And my response was complete shock, and I said, what?
Both were kicked out of Gold's Gym following the confrontation. And Tish says she lost her membership. She insists she has nothing against transgender people. But
isn't that what they always say? Isn't that what they all say? Like, oh, I ain't got no problem with him. I just say I got this problem with him. I ain't got no problem with him, but I got this problem with him.
But she takes issue with what she describes as men being allowed in women's restrooms.
Trans people have a right to exist. They need their own locker rooms and their own spaces. It does not make sense to put them in the same room with women.
Okay, so then another question that I have, right? So even if that were the case, right? Do we put trans women in the same room as trans men? Right? Like, do we put them in, like, they need their own space? So, or do we just start quadrupling shit, right? Do we put straight or cisgendered men in one locker room, and then cisgendered women in another locker room, and then trans women in another locker room, and then trans men in another locker room? Like, the question that I always have is that when it comes to transgender folk, like, why is it always framed in a way where women need protection from these people? And also, if this person is a trans woman, why isn't that person also worthy of protection from a cisgendered male? Right? Why aren't they deemed worthy of that level of protection also? We're all like, and I've always, here's the thing. I've been questioning this for a while. like there has been a concerted effort over the course of the last 10 years to demonize a very small percentage of the population. And because very few of us have very few interactions or don't even know if we've had interactions oftentimes with a trans person, it makes it very easy for us to come up with solutions for people whom we don't know, right? And it makes it also very easy for us to villainize that which we don't understand. So here this woman is going off about it. It seemed like everybody else is like, man, what the fuck is she talking about? She's saying it happened to her 4 times in 2 weeks. Has anybody else in that area come out and said anything about this other than her? No, not to my knowledge, right? Not to my knowledge. So one has to wonder, like, why this one issue animates them so much, right? Because again, if this is about protection, then like, yo, like, did that person accost you? Did you confront them? Right? Was that person minding their business in the locker room? Or were they gawking at you in the locker room? That's what we haven't heard any of that. Their mere presence is a problem for you. Meanwhile, they're just trying to mind their business. Right? So this is how a lot of us got introduced to what's her name? Tish Hyman, right? Now, since then, she is, again, like I said, she has announced that she is running for mayor of the city of Los Angeles. Okay. And let's just say when she decided that she was going to announce this, she went where we would expect her to go. She went on, I'm sorry. She went on fucking Megyn Kelly, man. She went on Megyn Kelly.
I'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
She went on Megyn Kelly. And again, because the right has weaponized this to such a degree, it's no surprise that she would go on Megyn Kelly's show to announce this. Okay? So I'm going to pull this video up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann here. Hold on just a second. Oh, hold on. That's not it. And that's not it either. All right. All right. Let me pull this up so you guys can see right along with your man Spann here. All right. Here we go. This is her on Megyn Kelly announcing that she's running for mayor of Los Angeles.
Get right to it, and then we'll do a little background on you. What is the big announcement?
Los Angeles, California, I will be running for mayor. And I am so excited to announce this to you with all my heart. I plan to fight for a state in the city of Los Angeles, and I'm just excited.
I'm excited too. So did this all begin with what happened at Gold?
Now, why would Megyn Kelly be excited about it? Like, what about this is so exciting for Megyn Kelly?
Gym in that totally viral piece of tape?
Yes, absolutely. I was just thinking about this. I was like, this was not on my bingo card for 2026 at all. But, you know, this experience just woke something up in me, and it caused me to have to look out and see where I would be able to get help. And at first I was actually looking for a candidate to support because I didn't even think that I would do this. And as I looked through the candidates who were running and what they stood for, I said, there's no one that I could support there. So I said, well, I got to do it myself.
Now think about this for a second. You know how privileged you got to be a one issue fucking voter, right? There are people who are running for office who have to have they have to have a policy, or at least some thoughts of a policy on a various number of different things. What, like tax policy, how do you handle a police funding? How do you handle city works and things of that nature, right? You got one fucking issue. And after that, you don't give a goddamn what happens. Like, you'll keep everything that's everything, but we just got to fix this one thing. I'm going to run for mayor behind it. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Like this. And she's wearing a lapel pin that says XX and XY to, denote that there's only two sexes and everything. And like, what's interesting is that like, she's of the LGBTQ community, right? She's of that community, but this goes to show you that even within the community, there's always one, or at least one, who will go against the community for their own, kind of personal gripes about said community. We see this when it comes to, a lot of right-wing black folks and a lot of Republican Latinos who were supporters of Trump, and then people started getting shipped out and like, wait, we thought we was good. No. And it's funny to me that this woman doesn't see that, Megyn Kelly is excited because we got a black lesbian woman running for mayor in Los Angeles, and she's spouting this shit about these trans people. Yeah, I'm excited about the prospect of that. But also, the minute you don't become useful for them anymore, they will cast your ass aside. And so to see Tish Hyman allow herself to be used in this way, it's like, I guess.
That's amazing. I agree with you. I just took a quick look at who's running, and this does not seem to be a prominent issue, if an issue at all. All right, so let's get right to it, and then we'll do a little background on you.
Okay. So, yeah, man, she went on Megyn Kelly to announce. She was on Threads. She announced on Threads also. And I ain't going to lie to y'all, man. I was like, yo, man, like, she had pictures. She was sharing pictures of her with people like, the wife of Benjamin Netanyahu and RFK Jr., bro. She was out here with RFK Jr. And many people was like, just
delete all that shit. Delete all that shit. Let's play with you, piggy.
yeah, man. Like, she out here, and it's like, yo, like, it's kind of fucked up when you announce your run for mayor and you lose at the announcement. You know what I'm saying? Like your campaign got the grand opening, grand closing thing going on right now. Not a whole lot of people. I don't think a whole lot of people, especially considering where she's running. I think she's got a snowball chance in hell of winning. But also, I just think because of where she's running and the issue that she's running on, I think a lot of the people that's going to be in LA, like,
it's above me now.
They're not going to vote for her. They're not going to vote for her. Like, it's crazy that she's allowing herself to be used in such a way. But hey, man, it is what it is, man. We, every a sucker is born every minute, and sometimes they show themselves. And right now, Tish Hyman is showing herself to be sort of a sucker. So we got that going on. Now, another story that I wanted to talk about, man. So Donald Trump brought his bitch ass to Detroit here this past week, and
oh man, hey.
Yeah, man, he brought his ass to Detroit, and first things first, I was like, man, why the fuck he would bring his punk ass here? And then on top of that, like, he went to Ford, and like, I hate that he went to Ford, but also I hate that like William Clay Ford Jr. was like giving him the tour around and shit. Like, as a fan of the Detroit Lions and knowing that the Ford family owns the Detroit Lions, this is not a good fucking look, especially considering the fact that, we lost our most of the season because Amon-Ra St. Brown did that fuck ass Trump dance in Washington, D.C. We shit the bed. The rest of the year after that, we was cursed. Now, I don't know if this is going to continue to curse, but goddamn it, we was cursed. Okay? But shout out to the Ford worker who he didn't even cuss. Here's what's funny. He didn't even curse Donald Trump out. Right? He didn't even curse him out. He yelled out, he said, you pedophile protector. And Donald Trump essentially was on some.
Take a big step back and literally fuck your own face.
He was mad, man. He said, fuck you to this guy, gave him the finger, and kept it going. Right now, mind you, here's the thing. Here's one thing I was thinking about. If someone just yelled out, pedophile protector, I wouldn't have shit to say because I ain't protecting no pedophiles. Hit dogs holler. Donald Trump knew he was being called a pedophile protector. Now, if he didn't know, if he wasn't protecting no pedophiles, he'd have let the shit slide. But no, he told that man, fuck you, and gave him the finger, right? And so what ended up happening is this worker, he's at the job, he yells us out, he's embarrassing the higher ups. So the higher ups, of course, you know, they got to suspend him, which is some bullshit, but
Oh man, hey.
so he's suspended from the gig, right? But people started hitting him up with a look. They gave him a GoFundMe, and he has not only one GoFundMe, but he's got two.
I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
He leaving with something, right? So we get this story here, comes from Deadline Detroit. And yo, man, this man, since he said that to Donald Trump, and since he got suspended from his job, the two GoFundMe campaigns have raised over $800,000 for this motherfucker, man. Yeah, man. So we get this story, like I said, we get this from Deadline Detroit. It says two GoFundMe pages as of early Wednesday evening had raised $810,755 for Ford worker TJ Sabula, who was suspended after yelling pedophile protector to President Donald Trump on Tuesday as he toured the Dearborn plant that makes the F-150s. Trump responded by saying, fuck you, and giving the finger. A GoFundMe spokesperson tells the Free Press that both pages are legit. Deandra Gourlay, who describes herself as a personal friend of the Sabula family, is organizing one of the pages. The second one is being organized by Sean Williams. TJ is a father of two young children, a husband, and is a proud United Auto Workers Local 600 line worker. She writes on the GoFundMe page, funds donated will support TJ and his family to cover expenses during this time of uncertainty. The page includes a picture of Sabula and Trump giving the finger during his visit to the plant. The UAW issued a statement from Laura Dickerson, UAW Ford Department Director. The UAW will ensure that our member receives the full protection of all negotiated contract language, safeguarding his job and his rights as a union member. Workers should never be subjected to vulgar language or behavior by anyone, including the President of the United States. So shout out to his union. Yeah. Shout out to the union for supporting him. I'm just like kind of jealous that the motherfucker didn't come to my goddamn job. Because if he, man, listen. Could y'all imagine that motherfucker Trump coming to my place of work? Y'all know how I feel about that son of a bitch? Nigga. And I got a union? I'd have been up in that motherfucker like, man.
Little stupid bitch. Little dumb teacher bitch. 2 + 2 not knowing what the fuck it is, bitch. Cross-eyed crying down your back, fat foot ass bitch. Long titty, no nipple having ass bitch. Oh! He said she ain't had no nipples.
Nigga, I'd have been roasting his bitch ass, man. Oh my God. I'm just mad he ain't show up to my gig, man. Oh my God, man. You know what I'm saying? I work with motherfuckers who be like wearing like Trump hats and shit. Like they got Trump's face over the fucking American flag and shit. I got motherfuckers who ride around in trucks and they got Trump's, let's go Brandon stickers on the trucks and shit on a company vehicle. I be like, and I wore a t-shirt. Motherfucker like, hey Spann, I don't know if you should really wear that t-shirt. Like these motherfuckers out here like they wearing this shit proudly. And I can't say I don't like this son bitch. Right? So yeah, man, I'm glad that somebody getting paid off saying like, man, fuck this bitch, right? I wish it were me. I swear to God, I wish it were me. Like, nigga, could you imagine? Oh my God, I'd empty the clip. Oh my God, I'd empty the clip, man. I'd have all the insults, nigga. I'm pulling from their ancestors with the insults, bro. Like straight up, man. I'm going scorched earth on that motherfucker when it came. Pedophile protector, nigga. Oh, nigga, your baby bumping one of fuck your daughter ass, bitch. Like, nigga, I'm going there, bruh. You know, but yeah, man, this man so far, there's probably even more than this at this point. But this, think about this for a second though. and I wonder how like Trump supporters and Donald Trump maybe feel about the fact that like, yo, this man had an interaction with you that was negative, and people wanted to support this man to the tune of $1 million or damn near of $1 million. To that, I mean, I'm God's trying to tell you something, man. God's trying to tell you something. So we got that going on, man. Real talk. Oh shit. Let's see what else we got going on regarding this. Well, we got this other story. I'm gonna talk about this. So, Ludacris backs out of a music festival that is essentially a Trump music festival all across the country, y'all. Yeah, man. So we get this story here. This comes out of let's see. This is consequence.net. It says that Ludacris pulls out of a Rock the Country festival, citing a mix-up. Says that the lines got crossed and he wasn't supposed to be on there, his reps claim. Now, let's see. It says Ludacris was dropped off the Rock the Country traveling festival tour. A representative for the Atlanta rapper told Rolling Stone that there was a mix-up about Luda's inclusion on the lineup. Lines got crossed and he wasn't supposed to be on there, the rep claimed. Upon the festival's announcement, Ludacris faced backlash from some critics over its perceived political leanings. While Rock the Country doesn't have an explicit affiliation, festival headliner Kid Rock is one of the Donald Trump's most visible supporters, and the president introduced his headlining set at the event last year. Jason Aldean, who also tops the bill, is another noted Trump supporter. It's simple. The Rock the Country is this simple. Rock the Country isn't just a music festival, it's a movement, said Kid Rock of the Rock the Country in a statement. In 2026, as America celebrates its 250th anniversary, this is a place for hardworking, God-fearing patriots to gather as one and celebrate freedom, music, and party of the year. Rock the Country will visit 8 small cities across America throughout the spring and summer, featuring a rotating lineup of acts that also includes Creed, Jelly Roll, Blake Shelton, Brooks and Dunn, Miranda Lambert, Hank Williams Jr., Riley Green, and Leonard Skinner. Okay? These are the motherfuckers that Ludacris was lined up with. Ludacris wasn't the only rapper listed on the initial bill. Nelly, who performed at Trump's 2025 inauguration, remains in the lineup. And I'm telling you right now, what happened was this. Ludacris' name popped up on that shit, and people saw that damn lineup, and they saw his name, and everybody was just like,
I know that ain't who I think it is.
Everybody was like, I know that ain't who I think it is. Come on, man. You got to move, bitch. Get out the way of this shit here now. I mean, Ludacris. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stand up and walk away, Luda. Like, what are you doing, Luda? You know, now we're not surprised by Nelly, lending his fucking shit to this. You know, like Nelly has made where he stands very clear, despite the fact that he's tried to not make it clear. We know where you stand, dude. You know, but yeah, man, Ludacris got the fuck out of that. He was like, nah, I don't need them type of problems. Now, Nelly, I guess, Nelly just like, man, fuck it. I'm going to just go ahead and lean into it. But Ludacris like, nah, I ain't trying to fuck my bag up with my people. I want to go back home, I got to go back home, and I ain't trying to fuck that up. So, yeah, man, Nelly backed out of that damn, it was grand opening, grand closing on Nelly being on in that goddamn festival, you know what I mean? So we got that going on. Now, before we go, I'm just gonna say this, right? So the reason why I named tonight's episode of America's House is Burning is because prior to the death of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he expressed some reticence about the progress that had been made over the course of the civil rights movement, and a little bit of second guessing. And he expressed this to one Harry Belafonte. And, after a strategizing session, they were talking about, they were strategizing about the Poor People's Campaign, where they were trying to essentially, bridge the gap, not just for black folks, but for white folks Asian folk, Native American folk, immigrant folk who were poor. They were trying to bring all these people together and have them galvanized together as a rainbow coalition, so to speak, and advocate on behalf of the poor of America, right? And this is at a time when America is the richest country on the face of the earth, but we still have, so many without. So when people talk about when Dr. King was killed, they often say things like, and it's not to say that people weren't killed to give us the right to vote, but that wasn't the reason why I believe that King was killed. I think King was killed because he was not only galvanizing black people, but he was galvanizing black people, white people, Asian people, Native American people, immigrant folks, the poor. He was gathering those folks up and bringing them to the forefront of the next step of the movement. And at the time that Dr. King died, he was a very unpopular man. He wasn't popular at all in the United States of America. His reputation has been rehabilitated in some ways, and also, because of his birthday now being celebrated as a holiday. I mean, if you want to keep it 1,000, there were Republicans and conservatives who were against the very idea of his birthday becoming a holiday. Ronald Reagan being a prominent one who went on record to say that he would much rather be something of an unofficial holiday than an actual holiday that was, that's something that the nation recognized. John McCain famously did not vote for MLK Day to be a national holiday. As a matter of fact, I believe Arizona was the last state in the union to even recognize MLK Day as a holiday at all, right? And so we've come to a point in this nation, or we were at a point in this nation, where it was politically out of step for you to say anything cross about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., right? Even as a Republican, it was very cross for you to have. If you said anything negatively about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., it was politically damaging for you, right? There was a point in time, I remember this, I can remember, there was a point in time where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was practically deified in this nation, right? Rightfully or rightfully so, or unworthy, however you feel like you want to look at it. The fact of the matter is, there was a time in this nation where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was deified. He was the best of this nation. He was the best of what this nation could be, and reminded this country of what it could be had it lived up to its promise that it put down on paper, right? And so for Republicans, oftentimes, what they would do, they would try to co-opt Dr. King's message. That they would try to pick out the parts of the "I have a dream" speech. And they always landed on, I want to grow up, that our kids would, they would be judged by the content of this, not the color of their skin, but the content of their character. That is the most favorite part. Every Republican that you've ever heard talk about Dr. King, when they talk about that "I have a dream" speech, that seems like that's the only part of that fucking speech that they know. Right? But now, I think we've come to a point in this nation where the mask has fallen, where they have stopped pretending that they like Dr. King, that they revere Dr. King. And they also think that it is politically advantageous for them to antagonize Dr. King's legacy and message, right? But you ain't got to believe me. You ain't got to believe me. Just believe the things that these people are saying, right? So I'm going to pull this up. This comes from the Daily Mail, and this is Donald Trump speaking on the fact that he believes that civil rights were very bad for white people.
Think of how stupid the average person is, and then realize half of them are stupider than that.
Yeah. So Donald Trump believes the Civil Rights Act led to white people being very badly treated. The president bragged about his crusade to end diversity policies in America by noting the civil rights era resulted in reverse discrimination for white Americans in an interview published on Monday. Trump told the New York Times that white people were very badly treated, where they did extremely well, and they were not invited to go into a university or to college. So I would say, in a way, I think it's unfair in certain cases. The Civil Rights Act signed by President Lyndon Baines Johnson in 1964 outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. The law championed by Martin Luther King Jr. also ended segregation in schools and workplaces, as well as prohibited voter repression. Trump added, I think it was also, at the same time, it accomplished some very wonderful things, but it also hurt a lot of people. Listen, man. Equality feels like oppression to those who are privileged. The fact that there was an attempt to even the playing field for those who are historically blocked from opportunity, for those who were historically minimized in society, is somehow white people being treated badly. It's bullshit. But they coming right out and they saying it now. And I ain't gonna lie, in some ways, I'm kind of glad they stopped pretending. I'm kind of glad they're no longer pretending or trying to co-opt the messaging of Dr. King and trying to commodify his message, right? How many times have we been told, Dr. Martin Luther King was a Republican. Yeah, Dr. King was a Republican. Like, well, yeah, I mean, okay, cool. Here's your Republican fucking president denigrating the very fucking legislation that Dr. King fought for. How do you explain that, Republican? Or better yet, when they tell you that the Republicans are the same ones that freed the slaves, how are y'all gonna explain your president talking about white people being treated bad because black people, brown people, gay people, Native Americans, immigrants are treated fairly in America? How do you explain that? Right? But that's not it. That's not it at all, right? So it wasn't just Donald Trump saying that. You also have the vice president of the United States going in front of thousands at Turning Point USA event, right? To make sure that white folks know that they no longer have to apologize for them being white. And I'm trying to figure out, when has a white person ever apologized to me for their whiteness? When is it? Not never. It's never fucking happened. However, this is what they want us to believe, or they want you to believe. Now, does this sound like something Dr. King was asking folks to do, for you to apologize for being white? No, it wasn't about apologizing for being white. How about apologizing for being a dick to people who weren't white, who never had any control over how they presented in America because they were just born, right? But this is how the current Republican administration addresses racial issues in America today. You got the vice president of the United States saying this shit.
The left. We stand against treating anybody, and I love what Nikki said about this. We don't treat anybody different because of their race or their sex. So we have relegated DEI to the dustbin of history, which is exactly where it belongs.
Very few black faces in that crowd, if you noticed. All the white peoples clapping, standing ovation.
In the United States of America, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore.
Imagine the vice president of the United States in 2026 saying that shit. That you don't have to apologize for being white. I don't think anybody black has ever asked anybody white to apologize for being white. That's never been the ask. The ask has always been to get the fuck out of our way. Stop putting barriers in front of us to keep us from succeeding in the ways that you've been able to succeed in this society, because you never had those barriers put in front of you. Now, at the same time, these are the people who would tell black people, who would tell any other marginalized group, who would tell immigrants to stop being victims. These motherfuckers are in power of everything, and yet somehow they feel like they're being the ones victimized. Make that make sense. You run the country. Most of the Supreme Court justices are white men. The presidency is run by, they got a white man in the presidency and the vice presidency. The vast majority of the Congress is white men. The vast majority of Fortune 500 CEOs are white men. The vast majority of college presidents are white men. The vast majority of governors in the nation are white men. But yet somehow, white men, when faced with possible competition, throw a fucking hissy fit and act as though they're being victimized by programs and laws that sought to equal the fucking playing field. Again, equality feels like oppression to the privileged. Now they got to compete. All of these particular places that they've been in, they've been getting them just based upon them being next in line, them being the next one up, them being what's the word that I'm looking for? The legacy, right? Now they've been forced to compete for these positions and they can't fucking stand it. But you've got the vice president of the United States going up on stage and saying, you don't have to apologize for being white no more. Forgetting the fact that nobody's ever asked you to do that. Never asked you to do that. Now, another thing that I think is very interesting is that we've also had people like, I don't know, Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, who was gunned down last year. White folks really tried their damnedest to make him a martyr. They talked about him being gunned down for his political views. They talked about him, they want to make his birthday a holiday. They want to put statues of him up. Like they've been going over the top, man. His wife is, on tour essentially with the fireworks and shit, mourning him, right? But Charlie Kirk also was very adamant about, Charlie Kirk was very adamant about his distaste for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as well. And he went on record to say as much. And so we get this from Charlie Kirk in his own words. No one said this but him. Here we go.
King is, quote, a bad guy. It's true. The country made a mistake when it passed the Civil Rights Act. Also true. Once a week, we talk about why the Civil Rights Act was a mistake.
Yes, Charlie Kirk really did say these things, and he really did believe them. My name is Donnie Young.
Wait, I don't care, Donnie. I'm sorry. I appreciate you, but yeah. But yeah, Charlie Kirk did not align himself with the beliefs of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And so, like, what we're going to be faced with and what we're seeing now is that this nation is well, at least this current version of this nation is turning its back on even pretending that they wanted things to be equal and free. Turning its back on the entire idea of that. And so I would question any black person who voted for Donald Trump. I still feel like what the fuck were you thinking about? I question any Latino person who voted for Donald Trump. Like, what the fuck were you guys thinking about? Like, I honestly, like, it couldn't have been the economy. It really couldn't have been. Like, I feel as though anybody who was paying any lick of attention already understood that the only reason that Donald Trump ran this last time was to stay out of prison. That was it, and that was all. That America First shit, he didn't mean that. He would sell you on that, but he didn't mean that. Why are we trying to get Greenland right now? Right? Right now, Donald Trump is threatening tariffs to any NATO country. Any NATO country who is going out, who won't stand by as America tries to take over fucking Greenland. Hey man, that's not. Here's what's weird about that. You know what? Like the tariffs, y'all know the tariffs are a tax on us, right? If we want to buy products that come from those countries, guess what? We are paying more money for the shit. That's a tax on us. So he gonna threaten them with a tariff, but also that shit gonna cost us more money. Make that shit make sense, man. Make the shit make sense, man. Right? A white woman got shot in the face by an ICE agent in Minneapolis. And this is how you know. This is how you know that they never gave a fuck about, all lives mattering. They never gave a fuck about that at all. She was someone who was going against the grain. She was someone who was going against the white supremacist status quo. And so long as her white skin was going against the white supremacist status quo, her life no longer mattered, which is why last episode was named All Lives Never Mattered. Only the lives that preserve white supremacy. That's it. That's it, and that's all. So when Donald Trump is now talking about invoking the Insurrection Act, as people are rightfully upset over the killing of Renee Goode, and they try to gaslight you into believing that she was someone who was agitating the ICE agents, that she was somehow a domestic terrorist and all this other shit. They're investigating the governor and the fucking mayor of Minneapolis and the mayor of Minneapolis and the governor of Minnesota. They're investigating them criminally, not the person who shot the lady in the fucking face. Make it make sense. America's house is fucking burning. It's burning right in front of us. And as I've said for the last 3 weeks, this shit couldn't have gone any better if Putin had planned it this way himself. This shit is going better than Putin could have ever dreamed. He didn't have to fire a shot. He didn't have to fire one shot this way. America is tearing itself apart from within. And also, because of this administration, America is also alienating itself from its own allies. Putin doesn't have to do a goddamn thing. If you're paying attention. So yeah, man. Like I said, I'm glad at this particular point, especially on this Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend, I am glad that these punk motherfuckers have at least stopped pretending that they give a damn about Dr. King, Dr. King's legacy. They stopped trying to commodify it. They stopped trying to co-opt this messaging. And they're openly out here being antagonistic towards it so that other motherfuckers can stop pretending too. So that they can stop pretending too. Right? But yeah, man. That's it. That's what I got. I'm tired. But of course, before we get on up out of here, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with your man Spann over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and let your voice be heard. Go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. There's area code 288-0485. Go ahead, leave those voicemail messages. Those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. You can also hit me up on Threads and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Subscribe to the Spann Report on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, leave us some comments on the videos, man. We appreciate you guys who do that. Those videos that you comment on, we will reply to those comments here live on the show as well. Also, leave us a 5-star review on Spotify and iTunes. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who does that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast. And also, if you want to give us some money, because, sometimes folks want to do that. If you're feeling so inclined, we got a store for you where you can go and buy yourself something nice. We got T-shirts. We've got hoodies. We've got athletic shirts. We've got coffee mugs. We've got mouse pads. And yes, we even got hats, y'all.
We got some hats now, motherfuckers.
Yeah, man. So we got those too, and we appreciate you guys for supporting us in that way. You don't have to do it, but if you do decide to do it, man, we really do appreciate you guys for doing that. The link to the store is always in the show notes, man. Real talk. But I am about to get on up out of here. I will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam, peace.